two, one.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our segment of Talk Tuesday. We have an exciting show, a lot of great information to share with everyone. And since it's summer, right, we should be talking about growing, growing, right? Uh, Having our own foods at home, fresh produce. This is a time of season when we can do that, right, in our Northeast climate. So today we have an exceptional guest, right? A partner, a friend, right? He and I came into this nonprofit world at the same time. So we share that. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guest today, Herb Virgo.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So we have you here because your organization. I won't say it. I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us your title and what your organization um, is amazing, right? Like I said, we came into this together, and it has grown. You are a resources community when it comes to growing and learning and being comfortable in the outdoor space. So I want the world to hear about it, right? I want Hartford to hear about it and the work that your organization does. So if you want to, tell us your title and a little bit about your organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I'll start by saying though that I think the organization is a reflection of the community, right? So it's really the community that's amazing, and the organization is just a reflection of that. My name's Herb Virgo. I am the founder and executive director of the Keeney Park Sustainability Project in Hartford. We actually started as the Family Day Foundation, the original host or one of the hosts of the annual Family Day Festival in Keeney Park. And in 2015, we were brainstorming. We were trying to figure out like how do we help sustain the organization, how do we help the park, and how do we help the community. And what came out of that brainstorming process was the Keeney Park Sustainability Project. I visited a program in Milwaukee called Growing Power. They were doing all these amazing things on 3 acres of land. So little by little, we brought those things back. So it was animal husbandry, it was beekeeping, it was mushrooms, it was composting, hydroponics, and aquaponics. So slowly, we brought all those different activities back to Keating Park. And right now, our main areas of focus are urban agriculture education and forestry education. So on the urban agriculture side, we teach all those different things I mentioned. So composting, beekeeping, animal husbandry, mushroom cultivation, hydroponics, aquaponics, gardening, and all those fun things. And on the forestry side, we maintain the trail system in Keene Park. We also operate a milling site on Tower Avenue where we mill lumber, build furniture, and store all of our materials for our school gardens and community gardens that we build as well. And I tell people all the time, this program really started with the goal of reconnecting people to nature, right? So our tagline is reconnecting people to the healing power of nature. And all of these activities are just ways to do that. And right now, our delivery method is four-part: um, wood materials management, like I mentioned, volunteer engagement, the Hartford Food Hub, which has all of our farming and agriculture programs, and AWE, which is agriculture, wellness, and ecology, which has all of our nature immersion, trauma reduction programs. So those are our four pillars that we operate from at this point in time.
All right, thank you. So let's unpack that a little bit, right? So when you think about animals, mushrooms, and things like that, uh, people sometimes may not make a connection to Hartford, right? So you're in Hartford, and it's like animals, mushrooms. So where's the connection? So how do we make that connection for people in regards to the work that you're doing and focusing on, and that you brought back to Hartford to the wellness of this community?
Well, I think a lot of times when people think about the programming that we're doing, they're thinking about like a 4-H program or things that happen outside of the city. And our goal was to bring all these things to people's backyard, right? And part of the idea was is like we have this 793-acre urban forest in our backyard, which we're very lucky to have being an urban community. How do we bring people into this
And
space?
that urban force is Keeney Park, guys. If you don't know what he's referring to, it's Keeney
Yes.
Park. Go ahead.
Keeney Park, yes. And it's actually adjacent to another 400 acres of protected state land. So it's over 1,000 acres of forest in our backyard. So the goal is to just get folks to know that they don't have to travel out of town to see animals. They don't have to travel out of town to go into a forest for a hike and feel like you're in another place. And that has been really the driving mission for what we're doing.
Got it. And if so, I've heard some of the history about Keeney Park, right? And so this is, I think, a great way to bring it back to where it was, right? Because I've heard the stories of the zoo and all these different things happening in the park, for my parents and stuff like that. And so Keeney Park is our jewel. Right? There's an event, Jewel of the City, Jewel in the City. Excuse me. And so that's our jewel, and really taking advantage of it and using it to its utmost ability. So when you think about impact, right? What impact does Keeney Park Sustainability hope to have on the residents of the community if people were to think back about the role and the importance of KPSP for the residents of Hartford? What would that impact be for you?
Say, for example, like if 20 years from now, right, and somebody's having a conversation about, what did Keeney Park Sustainability Project actually do in the city of Hartford? I would hope people would be able to respond by saying, not that it served a certain amount of residents, not that it, maintained this many trails or picked up this many, tons of trash, but that it grew 20 farmers into farm-owned businesses, right?
Nice.
It taught children how to grow, right, in their own neighborhoods. It allowed people who were trying to create their own business or their own way of life or a new way of life for their family to do that. I think that's the legacy we're hoping to leave behind. And the challenge for us has been that normally as a nonprofit, people are trying to figure out how to be around forever, right? Like how to sustain, right? Sustainability. But that was never our intention. Our intention was to identify a problem, right? Give our best effort at trying to deal with the problem. And then transitioning, right? Not getting to that point where we're taking so much funding where we're having to chase it or mission drift or, anything like that. And I honestly feel like we've done that, either directly by the services that we've provided or by the organizations that we've affected by what we've been doing, right? Because the reality is in such a small community like this, when you start to do something, other people want to do it too, right? Or they want to do it better or they want to do it, so not only is our impact direct, but it's also had an effect, and they may not admit it, but it's also had an effect on a number of other organizations in the city as well. And I hope that's the conversation that's had about KPSP 20 years from now.
And those are all great points, because from the health side, we have the same sort of vision that we are gaining what we do and understanding what we do from the communities, coming directly from them, right? And we are kind of the people that are putting things to work and putting things to action. And so it wouldn't be us if we wouldn't ask a health question, right? Because health is our focus, and we talk a lot about food, which is health and nutrition, right? So inequities, right? That is sort of our guiding light in our mission is really on disparities and inequities. And so where do you see the intersection of how we improve health outcomes? And touch on the food piece, but you also mentioned sort of being one with the earth, right? And so really touch on also that mental health piece, because we often talk about mental health and it means going to talk to someone. But what are other opportunities? So include this in your conversation of other opportunities of how the work that KPSP is doing also touches upon that mental health piece.
Okay. And then my limited knowledge about, um, these intersections of health disparities in our work, my understanding is that we absorb in two major ways. One, externally from our environment, right? Like we are absorbing our environment constantly, and then we're also absorbing by what we're putting in our bodies, right? So my thought was, okay, if we could immerse in nature
Mhm.
and then put naturally, locally grown food into our body, then we are absorbing our environment to the fullest,
Yeah.
right? So that's the drive behind that. And we know that our environment, when we're surrounded by brick and we're in the concrete jungle, we're missing that piece, which to me means that there's going to be some sort of imbalance that may represent as a mental health issue, right?
Yep.
So if you can correct that by allowing people access to nature and to healthy food, then it will indirectly impact mental health as well. And that's a basic, you know what I mean, understanding of it, but it's real. You know
So
what I mean?
yep, and that's, I mean, that's the point of the show. The point of the show is not to to get too technical and professional, right? But to really have a conversation um, that the everyday person is interested in, can take something from, right? That's the point of this conversation, to take something from and be able to share with someone else and say, I heard about KPSP. I heard about wanting to go outside and use Kinney Park and the trails. I want to see what the trails look like, right? So really that is the purpose. And with that being said, KPSP and I, right, we have a partnership going on.
We do.
So Herb and I recently launched our Homegrown Harvest initiative. And it is, I always say in my spiel, it's a spinoff of Herb. So Herb inspired me. Herb inspired me because he provided access to growing through raised beds, right? And please chime in. Through raised beds, and I thought it was an amazing idea, right? I know people, I mean, personally, within my community that have those raised beds and that talk highly of all the things they do, the workshops and such at KPSP. And so there was an opportunity for Herb and I to formally work together, right? We indirectly always refer each other to each other's programs and mention each other and share the information, but have a formal relationship where no matter how big your living situation is, um, you can have the access that Herb was talking about today to be able to grow your own food, to be able to, as some of our, as you said, touch the soil, right? And get that effect just spiritually and mentally, right? Just by having access to that soil and growing in water. So we're providing like 4 different options to grow. Um, our soil options, our hydroponic options. You can grow on your windowsill, you can grow on your deck, you can grow in your backyard. So much.
Five different options.
5. So
2 hydroponic, 3 soil.
Thank you, Herb. So 5 different options. So 5 different options. Excuse me. So yeah. So really just wanting to be accessible. We often hear that word access. And sometimes it's thought of is that if you build it, they'll come. If it's available, they'll get it, right? But access really means that you see yourself in the options, right? And so we've worked really hard in trying to ensure that everyone sees themselves in our program. So what has that been like for you, Herb, in being a part of Homegrown Harvest?
It's been awesome because we started giving out raised beds during COVID, right? When folks couldn't leave home and wanted to have more access to soil and growing their own foods. So for a number of years, we did hydroponic kits, we did raised beds. We even had some people who were growing in ground who just needed soil and wood chips, right? So whatever they needed to grow at home, we were trying to provide. But it kind of died down, you know. So I was very excited to partner with you to kind of revive that because I remember the joy that it brought people to be able to have that experience close to home, right? Not everybody wants to rent a bed at a community garden. You know, some people do, right? But not everyone does. Some people want it a little closer to home. And I think you're right. It's all about access. It's all about giving people options. You know what I mean? We're not saying that soil is better or water is better or growing in the ground is better. We're saying, okay, what do you need, right, to make that connection And then whatever you decide to do after that is your journey, and we will help you if we can.
Yes, so that is also the key, right? Uh, you're not expected to, or we're not just giving you something and say, hey, here it is. Excuse me. Um, Go home and grow, right? It is I think, a real kitchen table conversation type format, where we are generally getting to know people. They're getting to know us, getting to know their neighbors, because we are prioritizing Hartford residents. We are also inviting people in our surrounding towns because we understand that those boundaries are really invisible. We go back and forth, right? But really allowing people to get to know others, to have conversations, and to feel comfortable. That if it's their first time growing, we have a lot of first time growers, to be comfortable growing, and to also know that they have us, right? To email, to call, in order to give some insight. We give our insight here at HHI and KPSP, you know.
I was just gonna say,
but to give to provide insight, and to help, right, and to quell sort of the nervousness of, oh my gosh, it's not growing, and
things
to
are
really
dying.
exactly. Exactly. And we've gotten those. We've also got those pictures of salads being made, right? And harvested from our gardens. So it's, for me, also has been a joy to be a part of this, because if you didn't know, as listeners or as viewers, our very first focus groups were on food, access to food, what people were eating, where they're buying their food, how they're getting their food. And so it's a full circle moment because we never got to like a food intervention or a food project. So this is our way of using that information to be able to apply. So we started Homegrown Harvest in June and did a few workshops. So thank you to those that participated. And we heard, I didn't know about it. How can I do it now? Right? So we have upcoming opportunities. And the very first one is this Saturday. In addition to the workshops that's being hosted at KPSP this Saturday on the 26th, you can also drop in to get one of our grow systems. And it's inclusive of seedlings as well, right? So we're not giving you an empty grow system and saying go buy your seedlings. You're also getting the seedlings as well.
And seeds, if
Yes.
it's appropriate.
Yes. And so you can drop in on July 26th at 183 Windsor Avenue.
If you've registered.
If so, at 183 Windsor Avenue,
Windsor.
please register, because our pre-registration is best because our supplies are limited, right? So we want to ensure that you go there and get what you need, not you go there and we possibly ran out. So want to be super, super conscious of that, and so please pre-register. And so it's at KPSP's location, 183 Windsor Avenue. And you can drop in between 9:30 and 11. No, sorry, 9:30 and 10:15.
Okay.
Excuse me. I had to think about that. So it's 9:45 and 10:15. Excuse me. And then we have 10:30 to 11, and I'm missing a time in between. But there's 3 30-minute sections.
That you will be told once you register.
Yes.
You will get those details.
So here we go. I got it.
Okay.
9 to 9:30. That's the first one, right? 9:45 to 10:15, and then 10:30 to 11. There we go. 30-minute rotations. Those are the times that you could drop in and get any one of the systems. Again, please pre-register. And you can register at www.hartfordhealth.us. You will see all the available times there. You can register, and just drop in and have a conversation with Herb and his staff. You'll get a tour of the place, see the goats, the bees, and all the things that's great that's happening there. But that's your opportunity. That's the next opportunity we have coming up. And we will do the drop-in centers as long as supplies last. The drop-in sort of options as long as supplies last. And so that's just the new way. And if you did get one of our kits, or you are growing, we are having a harvesting and prep workshop coming up on August 7th and August 9th, which will take place here at the Swift Factory at 10 Love Lane. August 7th, it is 5 to 7 p.m. And then on August 9th, it is 10 to 12. So we have an evening option, a Saturday option, and again, that access word, right? Wanted to make sure that we're working with people's schedules. So that was a lot of information, but definitely follow our Facebook, go to our webpage, and you'll get all the information that I just mentioned today. So that is Homegrown Harvest, right? That new initiative, and it's super great. But in addition to that, KPSP has a lot of things coming up. And so if you just name off, not all of them, but some of your workshops coming up, where people can participate, or if they want to volunteer, information about how they sign up to volunteer.
Sure, absolutely. So this time in the season, once all the school gardens and home gardens have been built, our focus is on farmers markets, right? So we're every Wednesday, we're at the North End Farmers Market at 80 Coventry Street. It is a great time. A lot of people come out for that. We have a lot of great farmers, a lot of urban farmers that are coming up now, developing their businesses are there as well, selling all kinds of cool stuff. The Callaloo Man is there. We have a lot of farmers who specialize in things that people are searching for. So
Scotch bonnets if you need
Scotch bonnets, yes, collard greens. And then Saturday we have another farmers market, the Upper Albany Farmers Market, which is in the Bravo parking lot, the field right beside the post office, where you can also find Scotch bonnets and callaloo and other produce as well. We also are doing a series of wellness pop-up events throughout this summer. Those dates can be found on our website. Our next one will be at National Night Out on August 5th. We will be at both locations, one at Lozada Park and then the other one at Goodwin Park. That's our next wellness pop-up. And I'm forgetting something else. It was wellness pop-ups and, workshops. So our next workshop, which is this Saturday, is Farm to Table 101. A good friend of ours, Liz Stanley, she's the person that we hire whenever we do farm to table events, because she makes these like gorgeous spreads. She sets the tables up and there's flowers and mason jars. It's really beautiful. So she's doing a class on how to teach people to do farm to table events, from harvest to table setting, like the whole process. And that'll be this Saturday from 10 to 12. And then our additional workshops as well can be found on the website with the wellness pop-up schedule too.
Thank you. So again, definitely going to either of our websites, right? You can get a wealth of information of kind of everything we discussed today. So also volunteering. How can they volunteer?
Directly through our website. We actually have a new volunteer management platform, which gives folks the opportunity to kind of decide where they want to volunteer or what area they would like to volunteer. They are not always available, but we love to know what people prefer to do, so we can try to match them with the right opportunity. But that could all be done through the website as well.
Thank you. And so as we look to close out our conversation,
Already?
where do you see the future of KPSP, right? We talked about what you're doing, what you've done, what you're currently doing. What is the future of KPSP?
So like I mentioned before, without planning to be around forever, our next step is to ensure the sustainability of those four pillars.
Mm-hmm.
So the agriculture, wellness, and ecology programming, the Hartford Food Hub, the wood materials management site or operation, which actually is going to be renamed Hartford Sustainable Wood Products.
Okay.
And then our volunteer management. Those four pillars. Our goal right now, between now and the end of 2027, is to make sure that each one of those four pillars are self-sustaining operations and not relying on, the same funding sources that they're currently relying on. So that's our next challenge / objective.
And I know there is some conversation about some rural work. Would you like to even talk about, the rural aspect of what you're trying to do?
Sure. So the agriculture, wellness, and ecology programming, we're hoping to expand that outside of the city limits, right? So trying to give people nature immersion experiences that are a little bit further away from home, because we've learned over time is that when you can take somebody out of their environment and bring them to a new environment, it sort of flips a switch.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mentally. So if you can do that and then provide them with mindfulness, wellness, or other type of healing programming in that other space, then it has a greater impact. So we're partnering with Camp Inspired in Coventry. We're partnering with Riverfront. We're hoping to do some programming at Batterson. We're partnering with Northwest Park. So a number of different green spaces throughout the area where we will be expanding our programming to.
Okay, got it. And if someone just wanted to, outside of programming, right, go out in the green space and enjoy green space, what are some activities or things people could do while they're outside that is not only physically beneficial or just mentally beneficial?
Well, two things. I mean, if for people who are looking for groups or communities to have experiences, to look for their lower or Afro or Latino groups, because it's always I don't know. It's a heightened experience when you're having those activities with a group of people. But for folks who are looking to kind of experience these spaces independently, there's a lot of apps now where you can do, you can download the app for a trail, a local trail. You can do CT Trail Finder or All Trails, and you download these apps and they kind of direct you around these different green spaces. But also, just general searching, trying to figure out or trying to find people who are in their area,
Yep.
right, who are providing activities in these spaces, and there's usually somebody doing that.
Nice. And you bring up apps. I remember in our harvesting conversation, you brought up AI and plants, right? Do you want to just talk about that, right? Because AI is a thing. We're using it throughout our daily lives, whether it's making notes and doing different things. How is potentially KPSP using AI, and how can people use AI when it comes to growing?
Well, the technology in detecting issues when growing, issues in plants while growing is, I mean, over the last 10 years, is just, has been incredible. But I recommend it. I mean, if you are having trouble either identifying a plant, right, or identifying an issue that a plant is having, yeah, I recommend using it. They're pretty accurate. Some are better than others. But yeah, I highly recommend them because the technology is only going to get better.
Okay.
Right? But at the same time, I will say, having that direct connection to your plant, right, and kind of knowing where your plant is needing or communicating with your plant without sounding too, it's something not to abandon when
Okay.
using the apps. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Stay connected to what you're growing. Use the app as an assist or use AI as an assist,
Okay.
but don't let it replace the connection to whatever it is that you're growing.
Got it. And I think that is an amazing way to end this conversation because growing is historical, it's tradition, it's something that generations over and over, right, have done for various reasons, for access to food, socially, just to do these different things. And so the technology is making it easier, but it does not replace sort of that foundation of doing that. And so before we close out, if you can just remind people on how to contact Community Park Sustainability Project.
Through our website, www.kennyparksustainability.org, or you can call us at 860-333-8711.
Got it.
We're also on social media as well.
And you can always find them at 183 Windsor Avenue.
You can find someone at one day. Maybe a goat, maybe a chicken. But yeah, something's always there.
Thank you. So Herb, I would like to thank you for being here with us today. I'd like to thank all of our viewers. Do we have any questions? No. Okay. So So we just checked. There's no active questions. So again, thank you for being here with us.
Oh, anytime, my pleasure.
In sharing the information. And I would recommend anyone that is in the area of KPSB, look at the website, see what they have going on, and it's from farm to table to mushroom workshops to just different things. To I have a question, I'm growing food and I have excess herb. What should I do with it? Right, all those different things. I think that herb will be very valuable in at least providing an answer or some direction on where you should go. And so I want to encourage everyone to follow us, continue to follow us on Facebook. Look on our website, Talk Tuesday. Our next one will be in August, and it is breastfeeding awareness, right? And so we're talking about breastfeeding and the importance that it provides not only for the child but also for the mom. And so stay tuned for more information about our next our next talk Tuesday. Until then, we're saying have a great day.